When you're raising baby chicks, you basically have two objectives. The first one is just to keep them alive, and the second one is to give them a good start so they're good laying hens when they're older. If they don't get a good start, they just won't lay well. My son Izzy wants to have his own chickens so he can make a little money selling eggs. So in this video, we're gonna take you along and I'm gonna go over 5 common mistakes that people make when they raise baby chicks that lead to a higher mortality rate and to just poor laying when they're older. So the first things first, we're gonna head on over to the post office and pick them up. While we're on the way there, I wanted to go over the first mistake that people often make when they are raising baby chicks, and that is not getting enough chicks. Plain simple fact of it is that chicks do often die, especially when they're getting shipped in the mail. It's just stressful for them. For Izzy, he wanted to have about 10 to 12 chickens, and so we ordered 13 chicks so that there's a little bit of wiggle room there. So the second mistake that people often make is that they have their brooder too warm. So when you're looking into getting chicks and you do the research, usually what you'll find is something like have it at 90, 95 degrees for the first day and then like a degree down every day. And that is good advice in one sense. You do want them to have that hot spot to go to, but you also don't want the whole thing that warm. And that leads into the third mistake that people often make, and that is they have their brooder too small. So you're using like a cute little plastic tub or something like that. And technically that is enough space for those chicks, but the heat lamp makes the entire thing really hot. And they need to be able to get away from that heat for a couple of different reasons. What you gotta think of is that what you're trying to do is you're trying to mimic what a mother hen would be like to her chicks. And yes, they will go under that mother hen and they will have that really warm spot, but they're not going to be under there 24/7. They're going to be going out and run around a little bit and then they'll come back under that hen. And that's the same thing you want to do in your brooder. You want to have that nice hot spot under the heat lamp, and then you want to have enough space that they can get away from that heat. And what happens if it's too warm, it is stressful for them and they'll end up getting something called poopy butt and they'll start dying off pretty fast. And also you are trying to raise these so that they are hardy and tough to be able to withstand cold temperatures in the winter so that they are laying well through the winter and things like that. The next mistake that people often make when they're getting their chicks is they're getting all the pretty chickens. I know how it is. I love getting chickens, and when we first started, I got the pretty chickens. The first time we got chickens, I got, I think, like maybe 5 or 7 different breeds, and that's great. It's fun and stuff. But if you're wanting good egg production, you need to get breeds that are hardy and have good egg production. So for us, with our business, we use Golden Comet, which is a hybrid, and that's not my favorite thing to do, but it's got to be financially viable for us. For the backyard grower, you just want, a nice amount of eggs for yourself, maybe give a few eggs away. Really good heritage breeds, something like Rhode Island Reds, Barred Rocks, Black Australorps, something that is known to lay at least 5 eggs a week. Here's a bonus tip before we get into that 5th common mistake that people often make, and that is you don't need all the cute little feeders and waters that you can get at your farm store. For the most part, I feel like those are a waste of money. It's a waste of plastic that's going to go into the landfill, and it's something that you're going to have to either get rid of or store till the next time you raise chicks. Especially with the feeders, just go ahead and get the one that you're going to use for when they're older. For the drinkers, I do get a smaller one to use right away because they can drown in the bigger troughs on the bigger ones, but I don't get the really tiny like 1-quart ones. This is a 5-quart one. It has a small trough on the outside, but it's also big enough that they're not running out of water all the time. And that leads right into the 5th common mistake that I see people making, and that is overthinking the process and messing with the chicks too often. By that I mean, like, so with the feeders and waters, if you just got those little things, you're gonna have to be like filling them up a couple times a day. You're messing with them, you're moving them around. What you really want to do for healthy chicks and for better laying hens is to give them as stress-free of an environment as possible. And so that means, for the most part, just try to leave them alone as much as you can. Get them safe and secure, get them the heat they need, food and water they need, and then just leave them alone. I really hope that this chicken raising journey goes really well for you. And if you want some tips on how to keep your chickens laying really well through the winter, check out this video right here. You won't want to miss it.